The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Coach, statement, please.
First off, hats off to Union and Coach Campbell. They were, obviously they won, so they were the better team today. We knew it was going to be a very tough challenge coming in with the amount of scorers and shooters they have, especially Shumpert, who had a phenomenal first half. And, I can't remember how many threes they hit that first half, but there was a bunch. They built that 16-point lead, and we didn't play well on the offensive end like we're certainly capable of. We came out, and obviously in the second half we did much better, changed up our press a little bit, trying to get the ball out of one's hands, and finally got the ball to go in the basket a little bit better than obviously in the first half. And once we could kind of get into a groove a little bit, you kind of saw what I feel like is the real team, the real Carson-Newman team that we've seen all year long. And, I'm proud of these guys. I'm proud of our team. We got down by 21, I think it was, with 3 or 4 minutes, whatever it was, left in the third quarter. And we never had to quit in us at all. They just kept fighting and kept fighting. And a lot of these guys didn't even come out in the second half. We knew we kind of needed to keep them on the floor as our best option to try to get back in the game and win and, to get the game back tied. We had expended a lot of energy, clearly, to get back to that point. Felt like we had a good shot of trying to win it down the stretch. We just weren't able to make the necessary plays to get it done, and Union did. So I think we've got a very good team advancing to the semis out of the state of Tennessee in Union. I thought it was two very good basketball teams out of our state that played here today, and obviously it's a very exciting basketball game for the fans. I'm just disappointed that we came out on the losing end.
Questions for the student athletes? Go ahead.
Kayla, for you, 40 minutes tonight. You guys are down 21 with 5:59 to go in the game. What do you think of how your team responded, being down by 21 to get all the way back and tie it with 2 minutes left?
I was just really proud of my team and the effort they gave and how hard we worked to get back.
What did you learn from this experience as a whole and today's game being just a sophomore?
It's a great experience. It's my first time, and I love my teammates to death, and I'm sad for the seniors, but we're going to be back next year.
Harris, for you, big game in the second half. You started off a little slow, though, but what did you think of how kind of the team handled being down by 21? You were down 19 to LMU a couple weeks ago. You came all the way back with a chance to win that one as well. What do you think of the ability of this team to make comebacks here later?
It just shows the effort that we have, and like Mincey said at halftime, he said we don't have to push the panic button yet, but once we did, it was give it everything you got, and I think we did a great job of that. And, we weren't going to go down without a fight.
What's the senior class meant to you? It's a really good senior class, and they don't necessarily put up big numbers like juniors and sophomores, but they mean a lot to you guys. What have they meant to you?
Yeah, they mean the absolute world. They don't put up big numbers, but the leadership that they have carried down to, the juniors and sophomores, that's something that we will take into next year. And, I just wish them the best of luck from here on out.
Anything else for student athletes? All right, ladies, you're free to go. All right, we will take questions for Coach Mincey. Go ahead.
Coach, we've talked about in years past the injury bug has hit your team in a lot of different ways. But we can talk about it now. You went 35 games, exact same starting lineup, every single game. How special was this year's group?
I think when you see teams that are able to have the kind of year that we've had, having good health always comes into play, and being able to start the same lineup, that doesn't happen very often. And so but you've seen us before, we've had a lot of years. Maybe it was just our year to actually have a good, healthy year from that standpoint, because we've had years where we've been riddled with a lot of injuries, and it's probably kept us either out of the NCAA tournament or having a little bit better year. But, we weren't unscathed completely. We had one of our best three-point shooters in Ashton Weichel tore an ACL, and then one of our seniors, Carson-Newman, who was a defensive specialist, hasn't been able to play for several games now because she's fought through a lot with 2 ACLs, plantar fasciitis. I could go on and on and on. Had to remove a sesamoid bone from her foot, and she still tried to play through all that. And finally, we had to call it quits so that she would be able to play with her kids one day. And I think that was a good decision. But and to further that, because I didn't say this in my statement, but Jekka and Abby Tinsley, Jacka Simmerly, Carson-Newman, those guys, Katie Stubblefield. They've meant so much to our program. Like you asked the question, they're not the leading scorers on our team. They're not the leading rebounders on our team, but they're culture guys. They're glue guys. They give these guys a lot of leadership on and off the floor, and we would not be at this position at the Elite Eight if we didn't have those seniors for sure.
Go ahead.
They were able to hold your scoring down in the first half. Defensively, what were they doing that was causing some trouble?
Well, they're an interesting team because they're not a great offensive rebounding team. So I feel like they're trying to get back and being very stingy in the half court and make things tough on you. And they did, but I felt like we got in a hurry a lot, and we talk about that. They were real anxious to shoot. We were getting near the rim. I think we had 13 offensive rebounds. Is that correct, in the first half? I think we had more offensive rebounds than we did defensive rebounds, and we just weren't able to cash in because I felt like when we got it near the rim, we were in a hurry to go back up with it. And so Union did a really good job. They took away driving lanes. We didn't get a ton of clean looks from the three, and when we did, we didn't make them. So we just got in a real big hurry, and we shot 25, 26, whatever percent from the field in the first half. Just one of our worst shooting performances of the year in that first half. But I was glad that we came out in the second half and obviously shot much better and got our percentage up to 37.8.
Second half, Michael already talked about it about 5 minutes ago. If you're down like 21, or you guys completely came back,
Right.
had a chance to take the lead multiple times. What did you see in your team? What did you learn about your team?
Well, it's something that I've already known, and we talked about it before the game. We talked about it at halftime that as a coach that's getting to coach really good basketball players that presses, we press a lot, that we have the panic button that we can push to where we can kind of get a little bit more aggressive in the press, maybe further some traps into the front court to try to speed them up, because when Union's in that position, they're trying to hold on to that lead, and we don't have anything to lose. We got to come back to try to get back in the game. And once we found our rhythm offensively and we started attacking more, that energizes you and gives you adrenaline to be able to play on both ends of the floor. And so once we started scoring, it really fueled our defense. We were able to get some big stops. I felt like that, they're such really good shooters, speaking of Union, that they got some open looks in the second half, but we kind of felt like that maybe the way we played throughout the better portion of the game, their legs were kind of gone a little bit, so some of those open shots weren't going, and that kind of aided us in our comeback.
Go ahead.
Coach, with so many key players coming back next
Yes.
year, what do you take out of this experience that you will be able to, I know it's jumping in off
Right.
that, but what will you be able to preach to the club next year to get them possibly back?
Well, I think that's been something that we've known for a while with what we have coming back and what we've signed early, that we're going to be a very talented team coming back next year. It's obviously hard to think about next year at this point in time, but we know that I think 5 of our top leading scorers are returning next year, and we do lose those glue guys. Those seniors are going to be hard to replace. But from a scoring standpoint, and you talk about our 2 All-Americans and Kayla and Bree, they'll all be back, and we've got some size coming in that we've kind of been hurt a little bit this year, that we didn't have that true big, tall big. We've got a couple of bigs that are coming in next year that have some real good size. So, my hope is that since we didn't make it to the last mountain that we've been trying to climb, we've gotten through the SAC regular season, the SAC tournament, the regional championship. Those were all mountains that we were trying to climb. We had this one last mountain to try to get up, and we just fell a little bit short. But they'll get in this summer, and they'll start working. They'll probably start working as soon as we get back, to be honest with you, and try to get this taste out of our mouth and come back next year and go a little bit further. And I think the experience is going to be invaluable. I think getting here for the first time ever in the history of our school, there was a little bit of nerves, and that was probably, you saw that in the first half. It was a little bit of nerves. Once they finally settled in a little bit, you saw the true team that I've been able to watch and coach for the majority of the year.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.